Amsterdam. Today, I was going to do a solo run, then I got a call from my good friend Osa. He will be in the studio any minute from now. So what he's going to do is we'll just look at issues of the day, have a nice rap about what's going on and take your calls and stuff like that. The first issue, well, not an issue, the first thing I need to do today is to dedicate today's program to the memory of Mr. Tony Ranta. Tony Ranta was an activist. I got to know that he was even the Secretary General of PANDEF. Tony Ranta to me is not an activist. Tony Ranta to me is a friend that I've known way back from school, back in the days in Methodist Boys High School. Tony was a year ahead of me. I think he was in the 1970 set, and I was in 71 set. So the stories that are making the rounds that Tony is 57 is not true. You got the age wrong. If anything at all, maybe he was born. He couldn't even have been born in 57. Very unlikely. I mean, I was born 55. I mean, so you need to get your facts right on that. Tony definitely is not he's not a 57-year-old man, not by any chance. Then it means that when he was in Methodist High School, he was in the womb. Okay, so get that straight. Now, Tony, it's a pity, like I said this morning at 7:30, with Wemimo, that I wasn't able to convince him to put the story of his life to paper, or at least to give me the permission to do so. I had always wanted to do a story with Tony on his own story, to serve as an inspiration to the younger ones about how to go through the highs and lows of life. All of us have highs and lows. Some are visible, some are not. For those of us who are close to Tony, it was quite visible. With that, so I don't want to go into details. I'm hoping that when all this is over, maybe his family might allow one to do that. But I've known Tony all my life. I've seen him through all kinds of situations. That man that left, strong man. What I can tell you though, is that he was in hospital even when he wasn't in hospital, he had suffered, must have had about 3 or 4 strokes. And it was surgery after surgery, stroke after stroke. Tony kept going on. He put up what I would call a good fight. At the end of the day, before he left, he gave a good account for himself. In the Christian world, I know at some point Tony was born again, because everything you said, apart from what he would say, was always shalom, 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 and that is peace, peace, peace. The bit I can remember about Tony was that, of course, he went to the Methodist Boys High School. He went to International School Ibadan, which we lovingly called ISI back in the day. Now, back in the day, schools were very distinct. There were grade A schools, grade B schools, and they were like top of the whatever. Then there were others, and of course there were what we called unapproved school way back then, unapproved schools in Lagos. Lagos was a small place, but not true. So Tony finished in Methodist Boys High School, I think in 70. He must have proceeded 71 to ISI. Then ISI was a school of the elite. There are no two ways about it. It was a school of the elite, and what it's called is what it was. You had children from all nationalities, attending that school. Those were the days when you had lecturers in UI. Lecturers, we had British lecturers, Scottish. I can't remember if you had Chinese, but those were the days when people came to Nigeria to work. It's difficult for you not to work, not all this jagbajantis work you're seeing, supermarket. That's not what I'm saying. They came, you'd have a professor, from some university somewhere in Scotland, would come, and I remember there was a when I was in University of Benin, there was a lecturer in the Department of Engineering. I've forgotten his very popular lecturer then. He came in from the UK. He was in Uniben then. I think it was Ubumudia that brought him. And there was a bus. In University of Benin then, we had about 16 buses that were running between the 3 campuses till 12 midnight, free of charge. It was a route from Ugbowo through Ago, all the way to Iyaro, from Iyaro to from Ekenwa to Iyaro to Ugbowo and back. The buses just kept going around. But there was this particular bus that was attached to engineering department. So one day the lecturer got in, Scottish man, and he said, this bus is dry. So he went and brought, in those days, we called them, we didn't call them cassettes, we called them cartridges. He now put this cartridge of classical music. So he put the cartridge in, and it was for boys we don't correct. They go lecture in the morning. So it was said that somebody said, I mean, who put this kind of Leventis music? Because when you went to supermarkets in those days, they play some classical music. I mean, come out this classical music, this Leventis music. And then I think the driver from under his seats brought one. He brought one. Can say, make I put this one? They say, yeah, wait till they inside. He put it in. It was Fela's Nakpoi, and that's how the boss got the appellation Nakpoi till I left the university. So back to, that's the story of ISI. You did have lecturers. So Tony went to ISI. From ISI, he just went next door within the campus. He went to University of Ibadan. At a very young age, Tony was a member of the MPN. He was a member of the MPN, and he was a top member, not necessarily. First, let me tell you, Tony was what word would I use? Tony was a go-getter. Tony Molatibani Fani, you know. I wish you are watching me on YouTube so you can see my expressions. You know, Tony is the kind of person like Jimmy. I like to kusi wala rimbe, you know. I like to ban offer. So ban offer. He moved up, and I think at some point he was almost head of procurement in his 20s. In his 20s of the not PDP then, of the MPN back in the day, and Tony made money, man. I think he was the one who bought the cars for. He was the procurement officer, I think, for the Southeast Zone. You know, but when I say so, he made money, good money, man. Made money. And then after that, there was a lull. You know what money does to a young man. All you young guys out there. That's why it is a pity Tony is not here to tell you his story, man. He had a lull. And sometime after that, from nowhere, he surfaced one day, and there he was, fighting his way back, got married, became a very strong voice. Tony, in case dead people talk, I need to ask you whether you were the Cynthia White who was writing all those releases in those days for the activists. No, they weren't activists. And what were they called? The Rivers, what were they called? Sorry? You don't know? Well, good job. Anyway, those Sadi Dokubo, all of them, they were all his. So I want to know if Tony was if he was the Cynthia White that was writing for the agitators then. Because Tony is highly intellectual. If you listen to his interviews on television, if you listened, you know you're dealing with a very, very intelligent person, extremely intelligent. But in between that, he rose again. And by the time I knew it, I was going to see Tony after so many years of his law. If you wanted to see President Jonathan within 24 hours, one of the ways you could see it was going to Tony's place. He had the place in Amole. I think it's still there where he was. And then he became Secretary General of PANDEF and this and that. But he was an activist to the end. I think when he was in university, he was also, if he wasn't an activist, I know he was a member of the Buccaneers fraternity, which was the fallout of the Pirates confraternity way back then. Which reminds me, yes, I know, you're reminding me. I'm still going to tell you guys the story of my sojourn in the Pirates confraternity, which I still identify with till today. I have no whatever about that. And so that's Tony in a nutshell for you. And it's to his memory that I dedicate this program and subsequent programs like this, because I'm sure wherever he was, this is what I'm sure Tony will be saying to whoever is near him. Jimmy Maba. So Tony spoke Yoruba. Forget that he's from. I didn't even know Tony was from South. When we were growing up, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. We didn't matter. When I remember my friends, loads of them that were Nosegbe, for example. I've never seen Nosegbe. Nosegbe is supposed to be, I think, is it from Rivers or whatever? Nosegbe, as far as I'm concerned, is an Obalende boyfriend. I hope all these people, Tony, them, all of us, we're all romping around and having fun. I didn't know until this activism came. I'm not even too sure that when Tony started his activism for the Niger Delta, that you could give him a car to drive all the way to the place. I'm sure you'd have to stop and ask for direction. So may his soul rest in peace. He's done his own and gone. For me, Osa, good morning. For me, I'm distraught. In fact, my feelings are dead as I speak. How many people will I tell you that I've lost? I've said no more posting. My good friend Khadija told me this morning, my post more. My post, said that nobody wants to be my friend because all my friends are dying one by one. Even Wemimo, you can see when I asked her the question just now and I wanted to tap her hand, she quickly removed it and jumped to the other side. Koribe, it's not like that. It's just a coincidence. It's the age that I am. I've lost Mrs. Okpo. I lost my son. What's his name now? Soya. I lost my son in that one. That one, we are still begging Lagos State, please release his body. Let's have closure on this matter. I lost Mrs. Okpo. I lost Shola Mimo. My sister, we all grew up together. She used to be with the police. I think she died with the rank of commissioner of police. We've lost so many people that I'm sure if it wasn't for COVID, I spent half my time burying funerals. Morning, Osa.
Morning, sir.
First of all, the photograph you sent me this morning of the Oba and his son. Is that his first son?
That's his first son. That's the crown prince.
You're from Benin, Abi?
Yes.
I thought that there was something that said that the crown prince wouldn't set eyes on the Oba, and that's why they kept him in Edaiken. We're talking of Benin now.
That Edaiken thing, it's not as if you go there, there's nobody there.
So
that thing happens
That's what I was told.
No, that thing happens when you want to ascend the throne.
After the father is dead?
When you want to ascend the throne.
Yes.
So you have to go to Edaiken. You have to go to Uselu.
Uselu, yes.
That's how we have the palace. So you stay there. That's how you do the rites.
Why? I've always had this impression.
If you pass there, there's nobody. You remember, it was when the last the Oba passed away.
Yes.
They decided to do some renovations there. If you look at it, it's like a thick forest, as if the mighty thick forest.
I mean, I've not been there before.
No, when you drive on the express, you see it.
I know. I don't look in that direction.
So they now moved there. My
first sojourn in Benin. My first sojourn in Benin, we do apologies. My first sojourn in Benin was when people were completely ignorant of what was going on in the then Midwest. My mother, God bless Ayoka where she is, her hands was on her chest when I insisted I was going to go to Benin. Egbami. They said that, sorry to say, witches flying. So when I finally got to Benin, it was like a mind your own business situation. On that note, morning, did you ever hear of Tony Oranta?
Yes, no, I never.
You knew him?
Yes. No, I don't know him personally, but I know.
You know of him. I like I said before you came in, I went to school with him. We were in school together.
I didn't know he was that old.
I don't know. I was surprised when I heard somebody said Tony is 57. Tony cannot be 57.
Maybe he was 67. I think
he must have been 67. Yes, they dropped off 10 years. And Tony, he definitely is not. We knew him. I was his classmate in Methodist Boys High School. Quite unlike what you have in the political scene, and you have people that just in name, age, next of kin, this and that. One of the things I thought we'd discuss this morning a little bit is, of course, Lai Mohammed, but you will be kind to him. I know you are very angry, but you will be kind to him. The man has been through bashing, through the whole of yesterday. I think what he did lacked discretion. I think he was rude to the panel. I think it was premature. He didn't. We don't have an official report. I think all those things. And then, of course, today, Ulisa lent his voice to all that. Everybody's lending their voice. Ironically, I don't say there is none, but I haven't seen one notable person come out in support of what he did, even the president, because the president is reported to have said that let us wait and see the report from the states before we act. So what do you think went down there?
I think, I think Lai was just trying to be defensive. So if the president had made this, because he made a statement, and that statement was made in the presence of, if I get it right, the presence of the Secretary of State.
Yes.
Last week when he came visiting in the villa, and when they were talking about human rights abuses and stuff like that, and the president gave his remarks back to him and said, there's a process. We'll wait for the outcome. things like that. So I think we'll have ended there. So even if Lai Mohammed not supposed to even organize a press conference or anything, just sit down and wait. When the report is out, then the government take their decisions, and then you can now pass it out.
He apparently he is now made it an us versus them issue, which is not. It's like the pendulum is trying to swing to the right. You want to force it to swing to the left. Is that the way people are governed?
You see, unfortunately, Lai Mohammed let me put it that way, is a total disappointment in his position as a minister, and I don't even believe in that Ministry of Information.
Yes, we are not during
the Goebbels time of World War II when you're building propaganda. We don't need that in the modern world. Nowhere in the world you say Minister of Information. What information are you doing? Whether you come from the State House or it comes from the different spokesman of state, secretary of state.
I think a director. Well, I think what you really should have.
And my good friend Komi,
yes, he sold the idea to me, and I've bought it ever since. That what we should have is one director, because what he said is even at variance with what Femi Adesina said.
So imagine, so who
is he representing?
Like the principal said something else, heading to the right, and you are heading to the left.
Who is his own principal? Is it the president or the federal government?
The president appointed him. So, and their decisions I think his sole decision. I think his sole work is to give out information from the administration. I think that's what you do. It's like an announcer. This is what we are doing, and you say this is the policy that we are doing, and we're trying to defend the policy that we are doing. I think that's what his duty is. So if they have not deliberated in the Federal Executive Council or any council to say, okay, this is the reports from the states, and we have collapse them together, and this is the thing, and going forward, this is what we'll do. Compensation should be paid by blah 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 to people. Yes. Apologies to be rendered for unfortunate incident that happened, blah blah blah, miscommunication. So you can just move on and quietly end discussion, because this is the same Lai Mohammed. If I remember back when you had the Chibok crisis, then the Chibok girls that came in, then he was in opposition when he was on top of the rooftop talking and shouting and saying all sorts of things. Then when the likes of Doyo Kupe and co were in CNN. On CNN Live with that lady, that Isha Sisi or something. They were saying when they were saying that they were saying how can they carry a bus? Just come. Even the president was saying how true is it? It was not true. When Lai Mohammed was shouting that it was true, that's an APC state then. So that is the same position that Lai Mohammed is now in now, trying to deny something that happened. So if the government, it's not Amnesty International that set up the panel.
It's the Lagos State government.
It's a Lagos State government and APC government, in which he is a part of this state government here, whether we like it or not. Lai Mohammed is part of it because at least his son is in the House of Assembly, so he's part of this government. So the government were the one that handpicked, and the SAN said, that's Mr. Ebun, said that the governor called him personally. And they said they want to do and tell him that it's a civic duty that I need credible men and women to be part of it. And like everybody keeps saying, everybody keep talking about Joseph Okobi as an upright justice. And so they did this thing and they sent it. Because you see, where that thing leaked because they know that it was a diamond report. And if you hand over those papers to government will just take it and just drop it somewhere and start rigmarole, and then that's how that matter will just end and just move on. So that's why some of them had their own copies.
Would the government have lost anything if, let's even assume, let's just play along this assumption that was a report. Would the federal government have lost anything by saying, for example, that, okay, with this report that we have, we now need to look further into this issue? Set your people. That would have been better.
It's a simple thing.
It's a simple thing.
If I were Governor Sanwo-Olu, I hope maybe he will listen to what this program is on. It's a simple thing. Look at the reports. Okay, the white paper is out. You do a state broadcast to these people of Lagos State. The unfortunate incident that happened that day, we're trying to protect life and property, but unfortunately, it went out of hand, spiraled out of control.
Exactly.
And we apologize. I will beg for apologize for this to happen. And this type of thing can never happen again. We're not saying that you don't have right to protest, which cannot happen again. The government has set aside XYZ to compensate.
That the families can come forward now.
Compensate the family to compensate them for the loss of life. We know no matter how much we pay, you cannot recover a life because we don't give life. And that's at the end of the day. Everybody will clap and everybody just move on and move. We have a closure. Exactly. We move on.
Why didn't he opt? Why did he? at some point, if you had a very discerning president, he'll almost be thinking of sabotage. That could this be done to embarrass me? You know, that's a way. That's another way. If I were the president, I might look at it that because the simple solution is there.
You see what people like somebody said. What you tend to forget is that, like, there was a day you made one statement. You are in power, and it can never be forever.
No, it can't be.
So one morning you will leave power. After all, there were some people there in 16 years that have left power now. They're in the streets now.
And some of them, even Second World War, are still answering questions
now. So
yes.
People will make that petition to Hague and Co. for human rights abuses. They will come and carry you from here and take you there. And you sit down there as an old age, with your walking stick. They will put you there. And you will still serve the rest of your life in the foreign jail. Because whether we like it or not, we are in a global community where there's rule and order.
The world is one.
So and we are a treaty. We're a signatory to those treaties.
Okay, I need to take a break now. I'm a signatory to this one. It's the Daily Digest brought to you by Amsterdam Malta, which I'm sure would excite you.
Yes,
for
definitely.
Reasons best known. Okay, thank you, Manuel. So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, Osa and I will continue, and then we'll take your calls and your reactions. So don't go away.
Hey, put a spotlight on me. Now let me tell you this. I used to care for the world's opinion.
And I used to fear their rejection.
Omo, I used to beg for validation.
And I used to wait to be seen.
But now, no more.
No more.
Because my time,
My time?
My time.
my own time is now. So what are you waiting for?
Amstel Malta. Be your best.
Hey, put a spotlight on me. Now let me tell you this. I used to care for the world's opinion.
And I used to fear their rejection.
Omo, I used to beg for validation.
And I used to wait to be seen.
But now, no more.
No more.
Because my time,
My time?
My time.
my own time is now. So what are you waiting for?
Amstel Malta. Be your best.
Welcome back. This is Daily Digest with Jimi Disu.
Yes, you're welcome back to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. Daily Digest is brought to you by Amsterdam Malta, and Osa is here as my guest. I'll take your calls 070-993-993-993 and the alternate line 01465-7190. Those who are supposed to use the alternate lines know themselves. Okay, it's the female line. All right, let me take my first caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning, sir. Who's calling?
I listened from your analysis with the lady earlier, and the truth is that our government really don't care about us, Makiga society. And the Lai Mohammed, I think he's an old story. I think he was employed for a reason, and he's doing that very well, and we all see it. What I would advise that if someone is listening is to ensure that he gives Lagosians the reason to see him as somebody who values life. Because for anybody to come out and say nobody died at the Lekki toll gate and continues to say it and defend it and use those words I can't describe from Lai Mohammed, it's absurd and it should not come up. Someone just like the man within the studio has ways he can approach this matter and ensure that he appeases mind. You can't pay for life, even if you pay $1 billion compensation.
Yes.
You can't pay for a life. But he should find a way to ensure that he let people know that he values life and
Thank you,
does
sir.
not play to the gallery with this issue. Because
Oh, we lost that. But that was a very matured contribution that we had right there. Anything to add? Nothing really.
No, nothing.
It
Because
speaks for
it's
itself.
just a simple thing. The
speaks for itself.
the deed has been done. So just for you to now just say
It speaks for
well, it
itself.
has happened. So let's have just
Okay,
have the
let's have another one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Uncle Jimmy, good morning, sir.
Morning, how are you?
And the guests in the studio.
Good morning.
I want to say Sanwo-Olu, for me, he has some human feelings, except those who are at the background pushing him. Look at what he did last year in the pandemic. The other one I want to say, can't he, Sanwo-Olu, consult someone like you, Uncle Jimmy? Because I listen to you all the time when you talk about government and good governance. You are not biased at all. You say it the way it is. Can't he consult people like you so that to better the lives of the people he is governing?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Consulting people like us is one thing, but the shoe that leans on his neck, if not taken off, is not going to get far. I remember I got frustrated at some point here that I had to even call on his family to remember that he has a family name to protect. I think, and I still maintain, that both Sanwo-Olu and his deputy can run this state effectively. It is the knee on their neck, and that knee is a selfish knee. It is a knee of self-interest. If that knee is not taken off his neck, he is not going to go far. If he is not ready to walk away from the job and call people's bluff, he'll be picking up the can for something he's not fully responsible for. And this is what it is. There is no point, if you're going to give somebody advice or you're going to comment on something, if you can't say the truth, then just bloody well keep short. If the various interests, the top interests that lean on this gentleman, these needs keep propping up everywhere you look in the issue of Okada. Who is stopping him from enforcing the law? The issue will crop up. In the issue of even in the House approval of the building that went down, who moved that? Who was the one who could have picked his phone to call to say, let this man go back to site? If you don't get that knee off this man's neck, there is very little he can do. Like the previous caller said, he showed a lot of promise in the handling of COVID and so on and so forth. He showed quite a lot of promise in that regard. But when you now have issues that are politically tainted, then he runs into trouble. That is the price we pay for electing one man and having another boss. And I hope that in 2023 it will be corrected. The time has come in this state, I repeat, when the truth has to be told. There is no, Osa, help me here. There is no point. If we are not going to tell the truth at my age, look, Tony is just gone. We were mates. There's going to be a party to celebrate him. It's a celebration of life. So for some of us, we must do what needs to be done before we cross over. I'm not going to face my ancestors and they'll be asking me questions. The gods have put you in a place where you can influence and talk to people. And this gift that we have is a gift of God. It should not be monetized, and you must never use it falsely. That is why I can boldly face even those who are very close friends of mine. Just this morning I was lamenting about what happened my friend did in Ondo. He's my very good friend. He was my classmate. But hey, the truth has to be told. There is a larger responsibility to society. A lot of our elders are not picking up that responsibility. They keep beating about the bush. Bring an elite here now, he'll be dancing kokoma. Would not be able to. The need that leans on that man. Who is the one, for example, the issue of Okada is very glaring. Okada is banned in one part of the country. These people now rush down to Lagos. Lagos becomes the dustbin. Look at the person riding the Okada. Look at the value of the Okada he's riding. You can't see a nexus. The man cannot even afford to buy a shirt on himself that he's wearing, but he's driving. So what is happening? Is one man's ambition getting in the way? These are the questions we need to ask ourselves. You know? I wonder what you think, Osa. Don't just say you agree with me. Let me know what you think.
It's a failure of governance across Nigeria. And
is it governance or a failure of interest?
Yes, failure. Well, you see, the issue here is like I keep telling people. You see, Nigeria will not like myself and a few friends will say there's no hope. Because if you tell yourself that there's hope in Nigeria, there's no hope. Let us be sincere. Let us tell ourselves the truth. So I see it. Like this Okada thing you're talking about. Okay, one of the most expensive neighborhood in Africa. When people say property in Nigeria, they say property in Nigeria is useless. If you have money, go and put it overseas and get better returns. And you
Yes.
know what I mean? One of the most expensive neighborhoods in Africa. The most expensive. Let me even just call. I won't just call the name, but all of you will know. It's in Nigeria, the neighborhood, and it's in Lagos. You see Okada and people pushing. You know that thing when you're growing up, you see somebody pushing a truck and knocking wood by selling bottles. You see everybody everywhere. So what are you paying money to buy those properties for? And you have a government that say they want to turn it to a mega city. When you talk, they will tell you go back to your state. And I keep telling people, okay, go back to your state. Even the people ruling you are not even from the state. Even the people, except you want to say, okay, you want to use language. Okay, these are people from this particular place. You see,
even with that, you are not sure of some people's origins. Yeah. You don't even know where they come from.
So the issue of small little low hanging fruits, they cannot do it because of some people want to become president of a country. So he doesn't want to see that, he's pushing people from one part of the country to another part of the country. Even in some states, they are banned Okada. Even in some places in the north, in some metropolis, they'll tell you don't come.
In Kano, yes.
They have banned this thing. Don't come around there. So I don't know how a state like Lagos, which everybody keeps saying brandishing is the fifth largest economy, Kinikon, how that state cannot have a good, transport system up to this very moment.
Okay, before we go, because we'll soon pack up, the Take 1 is already in the premises. This story came up. I'm going to call my good friend next week. I'm agreeing to come on his behalf. I haven't spoken. I'm not afraid to call him, but I've agreed on his behalf, Captain Jaja, that he will come on Tuesday. He's my own encyclopedia on aviation. But it says that Nigeria is going to have a Nigerian Air with 49% foreign ownership. First of all, why 49? Why not 51? Shebi is the brand that you need. You say you want to have your national carrier. You don't have to own a national carrier. You can make Airpeace, for example, a national carrier. You could have made Arik a national carrier. Because this is, look, Osa, last week, I don't know if you heard, they appointed 20 judges. 4 are children of 7 judges. 1 is a sibling. Those are the ones whose names are glaring. I'm sure out of that 20, maybe only 2 or 3 will be on merit only.
In Lagos, majority of the magistrates are daughters and sons, past or present.
Yes.
They can't hide it. It's everywhere in Nigeria now. They just bring one of them was to study law. Mama is a lawyer. He became a judge, magistrate. She rose through the rank and became a judge. This thing is enjoyment. So let it turn to traditional family tradition. Then you drag your daughter or son and you push him there.
So we are not business minded.
Yes, really. Now so they are all over. So it's a continuation. So and you know when you are in the bench and you are pushing your children. So when there's any promotion from magistrate 1 to 2, they push from magistrate 3 to 3 to chief. So it's a part. So that part will come in 10 years. So people like Coach Justice the
airline whatever is very sensitive.
No, these are just politics is coming and the man wants to go for governor. So these are just where to collect money and go and just go and do it. There's nothing that will happen here. Is it not the same Nigerian Air or Air Nigeria or Nigerian Air or Air or any whatever that the guy went to Farnborough in UK and unveiled a logo and came back and presented the logo and code to the president and executive council after many years. And they have been budgeting money on this same project from branding and co year in year out. It's the budget now. They budget this every day. The ministry, Nigerian Airways. What do you need Nigerian Air for? All you need to do is to give the local ones the support that they need.
Exactly.
Privatize your airports. Make it functional.
Yes.
To attract this thing. Who are the major countries in the world? Do they think that Air France is owned by the French government? They are run as a private entity now.
You know this issue of airports that you said. Sometimes when you want to book your flights, book a trip somewhere, and you have to do some connection, the airport could be the determining factor.
Yes, now
Do you
how?
get what I'm saying?
Yes,
You
now
can say,
say,
okay, let me take KLM because I want to stop at Schiphol
so that you
Airport.
can have that feeling. So
Have
even if
that
you're there for like
feeling.
3 hours or 4 hours layover, 5 hours
That's
layover,
all. That's
by the
yes.
time you move from here to here, there's even hotel inside that you can have a
Yes.
stop, a quick nap, 2 3
Yes.
hours. In Heathrow they have it now.
And
A quick
talking
2,
about
12 hours,
privatization, do you know that Gatwick
uh,
is owned by a Nigerian?
I heard.
Ogunlesi. He runs Gatwick.
I think they are planning to do some privatization stuff on at least about 4 airports in Nigeria, the 4 international airports. That's what I heard. They were looking at people that have run similar things across the world to come back.
But I don't know what is happening with the arrangement they have with Babalakin, for example.
That one is a
For the
domestic airport.
domestic
airport. Now.
airport. It keeps flipping and flopping. Government is so difficult to do business.
Because the problem with Nigerian government is this. You know, there are certain areas where the government is involved that even if another government come in, that you have to honor,
dynamics change.
You have to honor those things. But in Nigeria, it's different. So why would you carry your money and come to the land that when another person comes, you have to say, Mr. Jimmy, they're the one that put these people here. That means this man is making returns to Jimmy by proxy. No, cancel that contract.
I want it.
We should go and bring our person. That's how we work in Nigeria now. Because everything is not transparent.
Can I take a call, please? Hello, morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Who's calling?
Yeah, good morning. My name is David. And I just want to quickly comment on that, the national carrier thing. To be honest, I don't think it is a well-thought idea. Because government has tried to run an airline and they failed woefully in the past. But if they say they want to do it, my only concern is the 5% government stake in the idea. So it is 5% government, a certain percentage of local investors, local private investors, and then foreign investors. You see that 5% of government is enough to bully every other person.
Yes.
And whip them into line. So that's the only challenge I have with it. And for our airport, I really wish and pray that they can just put Ogunlesi in a room and beg him to come and run at least Lagos and Abuja airport. The man runs 3 airports in London: Gatwick, London City, and I think Stansted.
Oh, does he run London City now?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
He's doing a fantastic job.
Yes.
And guess what? The guy is an investment banker.
Wow.
He's an investment banker. He has absolutely nothing aviation related. But and like I always say, sometimes you don't need to, like you want to run a hospital. A doctor doesn't have to run a hospital. Just get a good administrator. In our country, what we need for a lot of our institutions is just a proper administrator who is ready to damn the odds. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't know that Ogunlesi runs London City. It's my favorite. It's my airport of choice, London City. Wow. So he runs 3. But he won't come here.
Come here to come and do what? Can't this is where you get that attack.
You reckon?
Yes, I pass away from here now. You're Nigeria.
And then I think, can I just see his profile quickly? I'd like to even know if he's English. If he's a UK citizen, he might not necessarily.
Definitely, have been a UK citizen by now.
You reckon? Sorry, Ogunlesi.
The guy who is by now a UK citizen.
No, he might have right of abode. He might not.
I will have taken that in.
No, what I just want to show, what I just want to highlight is the flexibility with which you understand what I'm saying. Here, all kinds of things will come into consideration. You cannot give him 3 airports. He's from the north. We need for security reasons. We need to give another.
The same way they sold 9 Mobile. So after all, we have one that one man, Nigerian man, is owning from the south. Why don't we have one our own? That's how 9 Mobile was. So look at 9 Mobile collapsing there.
I take that back on your behalf. I do apologize. I don't know if it's collapsing or not. But also, let's be careful here. One of the things we spoke about this morning, in which you sent a correction, is this problem with this gentleman, the Oluwo Viwo, and his traditionalists. I wonder, have you been following the story? And I wonder what your feelings are.
You see, I agree with you when you take a traditional title. It's called a traditional title.
Yes.
It's like you saying you want to become an imam or a pope or
And you don't believe
or
in
a
the
pastor.
Christian
So if you
doctrine.
don't believe in the doctrine of the church that appointed you, because the church will have their rules, they have their doctrine, they have everything. So if you don't believe in it, then you say, I don't want to take this, I resign, and it's in conflict with my destiny. So if you want to become a traditional ruler, and there are certain rights and this for you to become traditional ruler, then you better go and take it. So if you don't want to be, you can declare. After all, a certain prince in over 100 years, close to 100 years ago, declined the throne in the UK and said he wants to follow his heart. So you understand me now. So same thing has happened in what's his name now in Japan, when the princess said she's going to abandon her royalty because she also married a commoner, and she's following her. So you have to choose. So you
I wonder if that would ever happen in a place like Benin. They're highly traditional. For the crown prince to say he doesn't want the throne.
No, he must want the throne. No.
They would have made. I think that if we follow our own traditions to the letter, you won't have this kind of embarrassment. I'm a small boy, I don't know anything, but I am told that the reason why Awujale has been so successful is that he was really and truly chosen by Ifa, and that they had to practically drag him home as a young man to come and ascend the throne. The moment you deviate, like you said, a crown prince in Benin will always want it, because from the day he is born, you understand, everything traditionally possible, it will be done to make sure that he doesn't derail. Isn't that how it works?
Yes, it's already, I think, culture, it depends on I think it depends on the place that you're from. And, some people hold...
You're from Benin, right?
Yes, so people hold that culture thing very, very well. So no matter how civilization, so they want to stay with the culture. So they would like to stay, they want to keep that cultural heritage. It's like the division, I think, is mostly in the southern part of Nigeria. The northern part, they still hold their culture, they still hold their traditions, they still keep.
This is a Yoruba problem, but you're virtually a Yoruba man anyway. And I wonder how you see tradition being treated in this part, in the southwest, traditional rulers and so on and so forth. Do you see any red flag in the air?
The difference here is that you have ruling houses.
Yes.
And in ruling houses, they'll say this person has ruled before, this house has ruled.
Is this one's turn?
Is this next 3 people? That's one of them that can be, maybe they go and choose among themselves, bring their candidate, then if I go and check, or the kingmakers will now look at this and say, okay, they want to give ruling house.
But it's been compromised.
And so now it has become a political thing now. So whether you are, you have to go and meet a godfather somewhere, you will now talk to another godfather to talk to this, so they will now put, when your name comes to the bar in the listing, the governor will tell you that, you see, this is the person that we want.
Yeah.
So kingmakers will just come and just do affirmation, and this is the person that government wants. They just become those things. So
it's sad though, because if you look all over the world, those who have been able to like match the Western world one for one have stuck to their traditions, and it has helped them.
You see, it's only in. I don't know. I'm sure if I'm right, I think it's only in Benin that it is like you say, like you usually say, it's a short banker.
Yeah,
you don't even need the governor or anybody to say, they brought me 3 lists, I want to choose one.
No.
The governor, anybody, whether military or civilian, they fall in line. So once it's happened, because let me tell you, the leopard, like we call our obas now, they will say he has taken a journey into the forest. Okay, the man maybe have been dead like 1 year.
Yeah.
So they will tell you he's not receiving visitors. The guy maybe has passed away. So the traditional rite has started. Yes. Then when they get to the time, they want to do the burial. You see, like Oba Benin now, you can never see them. You can never see the coffin. You can never see anything. When he died, he's buried inside the palace.
Wow.
So did you see anybody carrying a coffin anyway? Did you see any images?
Yes, no.
You can't see those images now. The same thing happened when they took the Obavorame to Calabar or somewhere. The British people. When he was killed over there, they buried him over there.
Yes.
Then people went from Benin to Calabar to go and look for his grave and bring his head.
Wow.
Back to the Benin and put it, because the king cannot be buried outside outside the territory. So you can see, there's no ceremony. Oh, Oba is dead, let's go and do burial ceremony. That thing is quietly buried. They buried him, do the rite, and come. Then the son takes over, do the traditional rite, do the walking, then come to the palace again and stay inside.
Dead, long live the king.
So the governor doesn't just come and you only just to hand over because of the local government and take this thing. So it's just a follow. But the kingmakers meet. They will now put conference. So that's
how we got to go. 1 hour is so short. You'll be back again, no?
No problem, sir.
Should we do this next week?
I'm available. I'm 5 minutes away.
I know you're 5 minutes away now. Are you enjoying your new? I will join you, inshallah. I want to be. When I grow up, I want to be like Osa. Today's program was dedicated to the memory of my very good friend Tony Oranta, who has passed away. I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to tell you the full story of that fighter. He was fought. Last time I saw him, he said, "Jimmy, I go knock this thing, man." I said, "Yeah." He had about 3 strokes then. He kept fighting and fighting. That's what we learned for today. Thank you very much, Osa Owani. And thank you very much, Wemimo. I'd like to thank Amstel Malta for providing us this opportunity. Without this opportunity, I know we'll talk. Before I opened my mouth, something was head turning. And to tell you ahead of time, Christmas is round the corner. I'm a Hong Kong. So you want to keep to this station and keep to this program. At the appropriate time, some of you will go home with certain things. Osa, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, 9 o'clock. The Techers will come in any minute from now. Techer 2 is in the compound. Techer 1 will be running through the gate at the time I'm driving out. I'll see you all tomorrow at 9.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.